Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth.
Graham.
The force is strong in this way.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Alrighty.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Gaming Hub. This is episode 137. I'm your host Tyler saying thank you so much for joining us. And I'm here as always with our two co-hosts. Let's start with Graham. Graham, how are you? How was your week?
I am well, thank you. And my week's been good. I'm up here hanging out in Canada, having a little bit of winter weather. Weather's kind of confused right now. It's going to be, for you people that don't know, 12 degrees Celsius. You'll have to do the math to figure it out. But that's actually pretty warm for this time of year. Other than that, my Leafs have been playing on TV, so I've been spending a lot of time actually watching those games. And speaking of games, I have played a couple, not a lot. I played the new game by Pokemon, which is Pokemon Let's Go. And if you're wondering which edition I got the Eevee one, not Pikachu, just because I figured everyone go Pikachu, I'm going to go Eevee. And other than that, I played Overcooked 2, made it to the final level, and it's pretty tough. You got to be really coordinated and know what the other person's doing, but it's a lot of fun. Definitely enjoying that game. I recommend people check that game out. Mm-hmm. It's a great co-op game.
Graham, your usual answer for which one did you get is all of them. So,
usually.
I'm proud of your restraint there. Good job.
Well,
we'll talk about your lack of restraint later.
Yeah, I didn't practice amazing restraint, but there is some kind of restraint. Sure. Yeah. Continue.
Well, let me ask, how many Switches do you now have to play that game on?
We'll just go with more than one.
Okay.
No.
All right. Fair enough.
Yep.
So, all right. And also joining us is Steven. How are you? How was your week?
I'm doing well. So correct me if I'm wrong, Graham, but 12 degrees Celsius is what? Probably about like 54 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe a little less. It's times by 2 and then add 32, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So there you go. That's not too bad for Canada in November. But I'm doing pretty well. You know, I went back to school after having a week off and work, to be honest with you. And so that was fun for the first 2 days. You know, I was a little tired. Friday kind of came a little slowly, but I felt like I had a pretty good week. I had a test the first week back. That was fun. In one of my harder classes, but I think I did all right, and I ended class or one of my other classes doing really well. And sorry, Twitch is saying that they can barely hear me, so I'm hoping this gets better. And I did just get a new mic, so that might be the reason why. So I'm hoping that fixes it. But other than that, like I played a little bit of games on the beginning parts of the week. I started Persona 5 again, so I've been playing through that. I made it to the second dungeon. Yeah, the second dungeon, which, takes like 12 hours to get to. So I'm gonna get through that. I'm hoping, I have a lot of free time coming up soon here in the next, not for the next 3 weeks, but after that, I'll have a month of no college. So I hope to get some great play times in. And I'm excited to get through that. And, as far as that, I'm just got finals coming up soon, and it's going to be a hectic few weeks, but, I'm looking forward to it.
Let me say good luck on those finals, Steven.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and real quick, it poured rain yesterday here, and that's always fun to do in California because people just don't know how to drive in the rain. They don't know how to drive normally, but you add the rain, and it's extra fun out there. So yesterday was an adventure.
I've driven the freeways in California, specifically in San Diego, and dude, people there are crazy. It's 70, 80 miles an hour, almost bumper to bumper. You're right up on everybody, and there's no room.
I mean, we're good at that, but when the rain comes,
oh yeah.
Because what happens is you still have the people that want to go 70, 80 miles an hour, and then you have the one person that's I'm not going to go faster than 40 now. And, you might say that is safe, and that's probably true. But when you have a lot of people wanting to go 70, 80 miles an hour and you're going 40, you actually probably make it more dangerous. In fact, that's been kind of proven. But again, it's in the rain, so you probably shouldn't be traveling 75 on a freeway in the rain. But,
especially
no
not
one
in a
ever
place
said
where it
people
doesn't rain very much.
Yeah, because that oil comes up and makes it
Yep.
slick. But, what can you do? It's kind of fun. Not really at all. It's pretty scary, but, that happened. And hopefully the rain doesn't come soon. But, California probably needs it. So, what can you do? But
Yeah. And this has
How are
been
you,
the Safe Driving Podcast, everyone.
That's the traffic report.
Yes.
Yeah.
the traffic/weather
Driving
report.
safely.
Traffic and weather. Yeah,
It's
it's
a new
like weather on
segment.
the
That's a new
8s
segment.
with Steven. So, I've had a decent week. It's, not too bad. I played some games, some Madden, played a little bit of Red Dead, but I haven't gotten into online yet. And I definitely want to do that over the weekend. But in Madden, Steven, because Steven's really into Ultimate Team as well, I got my team up to 89 today, so I'm coming right behind you.
Yeah, so close.
I know. And you didn't believe me. Like, I told you there's this giant difference between, like, an 88 and a 92.
Oh,
team.
yes.
Oh, and there is, isn't there? Like, it's insane in Ultimate Team. So, yeah, I did some of that. I also played Bendy and the Ink Machine and got the review finished, so that should be up probably tomorrow, actually, on Saturday. So, on the XboxHub.com. So, take a look at that, please. But not a bad game. Pretty decent, pretty fun. Definitely has its flaws, but a decent experience. Just a little bit short. It's only about 5 to 6 hours, especially for the price tag there, which I think is $30 in the US. I know it's $24.99 in the UK. So, but yeah, that's basically been my week.
Yeah, and real quick, Graham, I just wanted to ask you before we get into the other stuff. Like, would you recommend the Let's Go, like the Pokemon Let's Go games? Because I've been like on the fence. Like, part of me wants it, part of me doesn't. Like, would you say it's worth it?
Okay. I'm gonna say it's especially worth it if you play Pokemon Go. And speaking of Pokemon Go, they've been hinting that I'm not sure exactly when, but they're gonna have trainer battles, which people have been wanting right from the beginning. So if you want to get into both of it, now would be an awesome time. Other than that, no, it is a lot of fun. Basically, it's kind of like the other Pokemon games, sort of same kind of idea, except for the Pokemon don't jump out of like the wild, but you can approach which ones you want. I've been enjoying it. Some people have been kind of saying it's been a little boring and stuff like that. But if you're into Pokemon, definitely would say recommend it. It looks gorgeous, and you can get to ride your Pokemon now, which is a nice feature. But I've been enjoying it, and I know once you get up really high and like I think beat 5 gyms, you can actually take Pokemon that you caught in Pokemon Go and bring into there. So there's a lot of like ways that they've not influence, but they work with each other.
Sure.
Don't know the exact word I'm looking for right here, but
So,
So
Graham,
if I know,
let me ask.
well, real quick.
go ahead,
If I
go ahead.
don't play Pokemon Go, you still think it's worth getting Let's Go or no? Like, I was a huge fan of the mainline Pokemon games. Like, I played most of them.
okay, then I would say yes, because it's basically on the lines of the mainline games.
It's just that it seems so easy in a lot of ways, and that kind of turns me off. But I know a lot of people like have been loving it across like I see it on Twitter all the time or Facebook or whatever, and they all seem to like it, and it makes me kind of want it. And it's just the lack of I don't know. It's just something about it that just kind of irks me a little bit.
Yeah, no, so far it has been really easy. I haven't had, like, I think only once I had one Pokemon actually faint on me. And I know, like, when I was playing it I was trying to play Pokemon Yellow on my 3DS, like, it was starting to get pretty tough. And I'm like, okay, I got to come well prepared. But I haven't hit any, like, really hard spots yet. So definitely looking forward to getting through it a little further and see how it is. But I love how both of them are incorporated. And I actually have the Pokeball Plus. And if you're into Pokemon Go, I would recommend this because you put a Pokemon in there and it automatically spins stops. So you don't have to worry about picking up and flicking your phone and stuff like that. You can just like walk by it and it does it automatically. So,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
I was just going to ask real quick, Graham. Like, and you kind of answered it, but whether or not you prefer games like this game and Pokemon Go or like the mainline games.
I would say I prefer this one just because you can incorporate both of them, and like even you can take a Pokemon out from Let's Go and put into your Pokeball, and as you like walk around and get steps, it actually levels up your game when you put them back into Let's Go.
Okay.
So you can level up your Pokemon really fast with that technique.
Okay. Good stuff, Steven?
Yeah. All right. So before we get into news, let's hit all the bases first. As a lot of you know, if you've been listening for a while, we're the official podcast of the Xbox Hub. Head on over to the xboxhub.com for all the latest and greatest in news, reviews, opinion pieces, what have you from the world of Xbox. Also, if you would like to come join our community, and we have an ever-growing community that's full of a lot of great, fantastic people that we all appreciate. The easiest way to do that would be heading on over to Twitch and going to TXH Gaming Hub. From there, you can find links to Facebook, Discord, Twitter, all that stuff. You can get our email there and everything. And then if you head on over to Facebook, that's the Gaming Hub forums. You can also find links to everything else. And join our Facebook and Discord. We have a lot of great topics of conversation. Everything from books, movies, to, I guess that thing we all have in common, video games. And they can answer questions that you may have. We can answer questions you may have. We can just talk about random things. We love doing that. We'd love to have you join us. So head on over there. Facebook and Twitch are the easiest way to get the links to Discord. And finally, if you head on over to Twitter, if you like Twitter, you can follow us at TXH Gaming Hub.
All right, thank you. So if you'd like to help support the show, if you enjoy the show and like to, see us kind of accomplish our goals, because we've got a lot of cool things planned for 2019 that we want to do. There's a couple different ways to do that. So Steven mentioned Twitch earlier. You can go there, TXH Gaming Hub. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to use that on us to help support us, we really appreciate that. If not, spend it on somebody. Help support them achieve their goals. The other way is we have a Patreon page, patreon.com/gaminghub. And when you're there, there's a few different ways that you can support us there. So we have different tiers. For as little as $5 a month, you're entered to win a monthly patron-only giveaway for $60 in gift cards to your favorite consoles. So spend them on whatever you want. It can be a game, movie, music, whatever it is. But hey, the holiday sales are coming up, so you might get some really good bang for the buck if you're the winner of that $60. Which we do right around the middle of the month, every single month. And if for as little as $2 a month, you get access to exclusive content. We just posted a Patreon time exclusive episode for kind of a spoiler cast review of Red Dead Redemption 2. That's now available to everybody as of tonight for download. And we also do things like trivia. We do some mailbag episodes. We do things like that. But the biggest thing right now that you get for as little as $2 a month is you get some benefits for our holiday giveaway, which Graham's going to tell you about in a second. But you get one extra clue every single month, October, November, and December. By the way, now's a great time to sign up for Patreon, because if you sign up in December, you get all the clues from October, November, and December for just signing up in December. And you get an extra guess. So we limit everybody to 2 guesses, so you're not just spamming us with everything you can possibly think of. But if you're a patron, you get 3. And we're getting down to crunch time now. Nobody's correctly guessed it yet. So the clues are going to get more specific as we go here in the next 4 weeks, including tonight. So it's a great time to join if you would like to do that. Graham?
Yes. Now, we're talking about these clues. Now you're thinking, what are these clues leading us towards? Well, these clues are leading towards you guys winning a Nintendo Switch. We just talked about Pokemon Let's Go. We know Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is coming out next week. And this is the only system that you get to play this on. And you actually have a chance to win that. And how you win that is by getting those clues, get those additional clues all the way back from episode 127 and then submitting it. Now, this clue will direct you towards a person, place, thing, a game, a console, something that's related to the world of gaming. Now, the way you submit those guesses using those clues, there's 2 ways. It's either through Facebook or Discord by using the Google form. And you only get 2 guesses, like Tyler said, unless you're a patron, which gives you 1 additional guess. So like I said, it's getting down to crunch time. Hopefully we'll have a winner within the next couple of weeks. But anyways, good luck with your guesses, and only one of you can get it, so go for it.
All right, thank you, Graham. And right before we head into news, just one last thing. We are planning we're going to talk about the Game Awards tonight. We're going to make some predictions, but our own awards are going to happen on the last episode we do in 2018, which will be the end of December. And we're starting the process of having our community kind of nominate the games for some of the categories that we're going to have on our own award show. We'd love to have you help out with that and contribute. It's up on Discord right now, and we'll make sure that the form is in a place where everybody can easily find it. But it's a Google Forms thing. You can fill it out and help us nominate the games for various different categories for our award show that we'll do the very last episode of 2018. So we'd really appreciate your help with that. All right, guys. I think it's time to head into news. So
in the news,
Graham.
Yes.
You ordered the Fallout 76 Power Armor Edition along with every other edition.
Yes.
Have you ordered the life-size, power armor suit yet?
You know, I'm still waiting for the bank get back on me if the loan went through. So we'll see. I'll let you know.
Right. But Graham, you're getting the Power Armor Edition. I know this.
You do.
Because Graham cheats, everyone. Not just in fantasy hockey, but with
here
this
we go.
too. He orders it through Amazon US, has it sent to me, and then I send it to him.
Just got to tweak the system a little bit. Play with it.
Because, Canada was smart enough to say, this is stupid. We're not selling this here.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're not getting by my stupidity. I can out
Graham's
stupid
like,
you.
yeah. You think you stopped my stupid? I'll show you. So, anyway, Graham, when you get this, based on your postal strike, it'll probably be around March.
That's true.
But when you get it, you're going to be really excited to find that the canvas bag you were promised is no longer there.
Gone.
It's been replaced with a nylon bag that in the cold weather is probably going to shred to pieces.
And real quick, I'm gonna throw in here. I'm gonna throw the question in because it fits perfectly. Blake mentioned it's even worse considering that they gave the canvas bag to the hype people, the
quote influencers.
Yes, yeah, that's the word. And so now you can go on, but that makes it worse to me.
So I just want to point out, Graham, before I let you go on this, that I would say the people that influence their sales the most are the people who bought the damn edition.
Okay.
So maybe they should get the bag. Now, I don't even really care personally because I didn't order it. I care, though, in the sense that this is wrong to do to people who were excited and they paid extra money for an edition like you. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, this is false advertising. Now, I didn't specifically buy the game, just that edition, because it came with that. But when I was looking to see all the things came with it, I saw that duffel bag or case or whatever it is. And I'm like, that's actually pretty cool. And I didn't look at any unboxings and stuff like that. I knew eventually I would get my hands on it and get to see it firsthand. And then I heard this controversy about them switching out the bag to be a nylon one, which it is disappointing. I've seen pictures of it. It looks pretty poor quality and cheaply made. And this wasn't a cheap edition by no means. So I know now they're doing some kind of compensation with in-game currency, which is not really a lot. And what if people...
What is it, Graham, like 500?
It's $5 worth. So
$5 worth, yeah.
It's $5 worth. And I don't even know... I hear that don't even get you much in the game of anything at all. I'm sure it gets
I think
something.
that's less than an actual bag in-game.
Maybe a Nuka-Cola. Something cheap. But no, I'm disappointed. And part of me is like, do I even care about getting this $5 in-game currency? I guess I should, seeing they messed up and get what I can out of it. But I think if people keep complaining and all that stuff, either they'll up the ante of what they give for in-game currency, or they're going to do something about it. Because I still like to believe in Bethesda. They said that it wasn't up to them. Some other people, I don't really know what the true story is, but I feel like they, especially with Fallout 76, there's so much like flack around it right now, where it's not selling well and people are disappointed, and so I don't know. It's another hit against Bethesda. I just wonder how they're going to react to this, because I don't think the fans will be happy with just $5 when this thing has been 200 and something American.
Graham, I personally think that like the greatest ever would be if that in-game currency was like just enough to buy a canvas bag for in-game.
Yeah.
Because you'd see like the internet explode.
That would be a slap for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That would be quite the slap in the face.
Yep.
But now, I'm still looking forward to
what do you think about him not doing it? Because they said it was like a supply issue or something like that. I don't know.
No, they said it was a cost thing, basically.
Oh, well.
They should have done the research.
You should have
done the research.
Yeah, you should have done exactly, Graham. 100% agree. You should have done the research before you promised it.
Yeah.
Like, that's just crap.
Yeah.
You know, so much for being such a reputable company.
Yeah. So it's not going to bankrupt them, so they should have just sucked it up and like, all right, we're not going to make as much profit, but we're still going to make profit. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen. Something I think is going to happen. I don't think it's just going to go away. Fans just won't let that happen.
Like the people that buy this stuff, and I'm not like if you buy the collector's edition, like Graham, I'm not even like mad, or I'm not even talking about you guys. Like the people that or talking bad about you guys, I should say. The people that buy this stuff, like they like these products. They love Bethesda, right? You're not gonna buy the collector's edition if you don't kind of love Bethesda. So you're already kind of maybe predisposed to spending money in their like currency shop in the game, right? You kind of get what I'm saying. So like, why not lose the little money that making the bag out of canvas would have been, just to have those people potentially spend more because they're happy. Now you piss them off, and they're not going to want to play your game, much less spend money in the shop. Okay, that to me it makes no business sense.
No, and I think we had another question, Steven, somewhere in there about like here it is actually. Sandman, given the horrible reception for Fallout 76 and now the nylon bag incident, has Bethesda completely dug their own grave this week? And I think now's a great time to answer that. I'll just say, like, I don't think they've necessarily dug their own grave, but I think they've used up all the goodwill that they had.
They're just digging a little hole.
They've used a lot. The grave is not. The grave hasn't started at all. Like they haven't even struck dirt there. But I agree with you, Tyler. Like all the goodwill Bethesda has kind of built up in the past. Even with the controversy, and I use that term very, very, very loosely, even with the controversy that, like, their games tend to be super buggy. Like, Bethesda still has a lot of, like, pretty goodwill, and people like the games, which is why they buy them 17,000 times, including on a refrigerator.
Right, yeah.
But, like, that's a joke, but like Bethesda was always viewed as kind of like one of the best companies, and they have not had a good week at all. Like they just keep making mistake after mistake that honestly it's surprising. I kind of hinted that this game was like, I was worried about this game back at E3, but I never thought it would be this bad with surrounded by this many issues. And that's the case. Like with the bag, like I bought the Persona 5 collector's edition, right, a couple years ago, and it came with like a school bag, and it wasn't made out of nylon. It was kind of made out of canvas, right? And that bag is really nice. I use it for like day trips or like night trips. Like if I go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving and spend the night or Christmas or whatever, I use that because it keeps enough clothes for like 1 or 2 days, and I can put my charger and stuff in there. And it's a nice bag. But I mean, I have a nylon bag that I put my, like one of those nylon drawstring bags that you get at like one of the sporting events for a giveaway. You know what I'm talking about? And I use that for my softball, and it's held up, but it's not the same material. And those nylon bags do tend to get holes in them a lot easier. So I get why people are mad. I think they have every right to be mad, because it is a bait and switch, and that's really crappy of a company to do.
Yeah, it's the look of it too, right? Like when you see
the look for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like it resembles for war and heavy duty and something you use like out in the trenches, not like, oh, look at my little nylon thing, don't tear it.
Yeah, like I've had a couple canvas duffel bags to, when I was deploying, and those things are very heavy duty and they last a while, and you can put a lot of stuff in them, and they don't rip, and it is kind of the aesthetic, right? Because that's kind of what Fallout is, and
Steven,
that's just my issue. I'm looking at Twitch chat.
I know. I was just going to bring that up. So, Rumham just brought up in Twitch chat, like, hey, if they really wanted to save money, they could just use Ziploc bags. Yeah, I personally think that if this was it, like if Fallout 76 the game was great and didn't have Metacritic scores under 50 last time I looked, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, people would be upset, but I think it would go away pretty quickly. But what Bethesda is proving right now, beyond like any doubt, is that the old saying of, as long as they're talking about you, it's good, is not true. Because right now, everything that's coming out about this is bad. Like, everything about this game. And I know there's people that love it. There's people in our community that are really having a good time with it. But the overall reception, especially critical reception, has been really poor to this, and this just adds on to it. It's more fuel to the fire, and you got to think Bethesda's in damage control mode right now. Graham, you're the biggest Fallout fan of us. Like, what? Just overall thoughts. You still haven't played it, have you?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I want to. Basically, I want to play it, and I want to be like, oh, this is so much fun and stuff like that. But I think I'm just going to be more looking for it to be Fallout 4, which it's not going to be. And I did like the NPCs and like having conversations with them and picking different like speech options and stuff like that. So like when I hear it's all about like robots or fun and these holotapes and stuff like that, like I feel like I'm not going to enjoy it as much. And I'm thinking I just don't want to be let down. Yeah. Like
same reason I haven't played it.
The way I think that might save it for me, even though I prefer to play single player and just do my own thing, but I think it has to be like a Sea of Thieves where you and your companions or whatever you want to call them make the game enjoyable or something like that.
Yeah, like if me and you played together, it'd probably be more fun. And yeah. I'm totally with you. Like, this game probably would have been better off if it was like Fallout 4 co-op than this. And
honestly, don't you guys think this game would have been better off, Steven, if it got delayed till next May?
Yeah, I do. And it might not even have had to have gone that far. I think, no, you know what I think would have been better off? And I really don't understand why I've said it a million times in the last 6 months. They need to make this game early access. You buy it, you know what you're getting into, you're a beta tester, and that you're okay with that. You're playing this online. As fixes come, you continue playing it. There is no shutdown. Like, you pay $40 instead of $60, and you beta test from here until May, whenever the release is, exactly like they do on PC. That would have been perfect. They could have fixed all their bugs. They could have ironed out all the problems, and then people that want to get in when the game's complete can be happy. They pay $60. People that, don't care and are willing to be beta testers, quote unquote, like I haven't had a problem with that for the games I've done that for on PC. And I really wish Xbox would allow that. I feel like they've started it because they have that early access program, but this would have been the perfect game to do it for. And they didn't. And I mean, it didn't hurt their bottom line at all. Like, I'm sure this game sold pretty well. I mean, I know we've talked about, like, there was a price drop, and it probably didn't sell as well as they wanted it to, but I bet you it still sold pretty well. But the question is whether the next game sells as well, because now people are mad. And I don't like I said, I think all the goodwill is gone. And I think now they're kind of on notice in the sense that they're going to have to prove that the next game coming out is actually going to be good. And I don't think they're going to get benefit of the doubt so much anymore.
No, I agree. They have to prove themselves now. They have to.
Yep. Well, they'll get it with their next, like, big title. I'm talking, like, The Elder Scrolls. I wonder though now if the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out before Starfield because of people might not be willing to come to a new IP after Bethesda released this dumpster fire.
Yeah,
of a
might
game.
not be as trusting. Of a new IP from them. That makes a lot of sense. So good point. I wonder if that'll happen. But
if I was Bethesda, I would think about doing that. I would start concentrating everything on Elder Scrolls. Get Elder Scrolls 6 out early in the console cycle. Like, make sure it's a good game. I don't care about little bugs. I really don't. They don't bother me.
Red Dead has them.
Yeah, I gave Red Dead a 10.
Yep.
Spoilers for those who haven't listened to our spoiler cast. But
Well, now you spoil it for me.
but that game has bugs. It doesn't bother me if the story and it's fun. And every Elder Scrolls game has been fun, and they've all been full of bugs. So I think it's the safer option to do that. Don't do anything crazy. You don't need to. People like the game mostly as it is. They've changed some way of leveling and stuff and, different worlds. But don't do something stupid like what you did with Fallout 76.
Yeah.
And
the fair argument, Steven, is that they did something crazy here, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, they did crazy, dumb things here that didn't work.
And gamers were, I think we've learned through this generation, especially, like, gamers are pretty resistant to major change too quickly. And we saw it with the console releases back in 2013. We definitely see it with games like this. I think the only exception to that, maybe, Graham, is the Switch, which is a radical departure from what we're used to as a console. But that's been embraced in a major way by gamers everywhere. So, but I think overall, like, people get an idea in their head, like, this is what Fallout is to me, and then you make it different and new, and people don't want that. It's the exact same thing that we saw with Fable Legends.
I was just going to say, Fable, yep, 100%.
So, and kind of in the same way, like, Fable Legends was online, and it was all this other stuff, and it wasn't Fable.
Yeah.
So it got a pretty poor reception before the game even came out. They
even
went through
free to play
alpha.
too.
Yeah, well, it wasn't originally, and then they changed it to that to try to get people to warm up to it more. They put it through the alpha or the beta. I don't remember which one it was, and then they canceled it like right after that.
Yeah, and to be honest, nothing was appealing. That game did not appeal to me whatsoever. Like, I saw it and I'm like, I don't want that. I really don't want that.
Yeah, I was the same way. I had played every Fable game a lot, like 2 times, 2 or 3 times each, which was a lot for a Fable game, in my opinion. And yeah, it's not that I don't like new stuff, but you have to show me that I will like the new stuff. You can't just throw it there and it'd be like, oh, this doesn't look like anything Fable has done, or anything Fallout has done. And now Fallout 76 didn't have that issue because it still looks very Fallout-y, but it's more of the fact that I didn't necessarily trust Bethesda to do online smooth. And it turned out I was not wrong.
Well, you would think that they'd be close enough because of what they did with ESO. Like, they've had a few years of experience with at least something like this. So this is really, it's surprising to me how bad it is. I didn't expect it to be smooth by any means, but it's surprising to me, like, how bad it is.
Yeah, we thought like 8s and it got 5s.
Yeah, and like, actually today when I was kind of looking through stuff, getting ready for the show, I watched the Angry Joe on YouTube, the review of Fallout 76, and say what you want about Angry Joe. Like, there's pros and cons there.
I should watch that.
There's pros and cons there, but I can tell you guys, spoiler alert, the final score was a 3 out of 10.
Wow. And
There
he
were
loved
some
Fallout 4.
not safe for work words being said. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, like, it just hasn't been good. So let's move on though. So Steven,
Hey.
For those of you who don't know, Steven's job has him supervising children a lot. Yeah.
Correct. That is one way to put it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And newsflash, kids like Fortnite a little bit.
A little bit.
So, Steven, you're probably, even though you don't really play it, and by really play it, I mean you don't play it, You're probably familiar with a lot of the Fortnite dances and stuff like that, yeah?
I'm familiar with a lot of Fortnite stuff in general. But yes, I do know the names of
Do you know
a
all
lot
the
of the
dances?
dances. I am not good at a lot of them, or most of them. But I do get impressed when the kids can pull off some of the dances like almost to perfection. And one of those, I'll say it, Orange Justice. I don't know how to describe the dance, but you can just go look it up. Like that dance is kind of cool, and some of the kids I have at the school I work at are really good at it.
Well, I think the fact alone that you know the names of all these without playing the game says enough, right? About how much you get to see it.
Yeah,
I do.
Because I played it a bit,
Tell
and
dance.
I couldn't name one dance.
Yeah, and Graham, you play it more than me and Steven combined.
Yeah, like when I heard someone say the Fortnite dance, I thought that was it. It was just a dance called the Fortnite dance. It was just one dance. I didn't realize
it's to the point where NFL players are doing it in end zones now for celebration and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's controversy though because people are saying that Fortnite steals it. Like, I remember the Turk dance from Scrubs. Like Fortnite used it, and Donald Faison, the actor who played Turk, was like very upset about it, and he like tweeted as much. He was like, "Oh, you want to see? You can just look at Fortnite because they stole it." And we can have that argument. We're not going to have that right now, but that's an argument that exists, and you can go look at that if you want to hear more about that. But I don't even know if the names of the dances are in the game. I wonder if people know what the names are called because they watch a lot of like YouTube content because they know every single major like Fortnite player, and they're like Ninja Sucks is all about like one of the other I forget the name.
It's like there's Dr. Lupo and there's
no, it wasn't
Dr.
him.
Disrespect and there's
not him either.
Other people,
but yeah, they watch a lot of Fortnite content. So,
anyway,
yeah, sorry.
What I wanted to bring up, so you're probably asking, like, why are three people who don't really play Fortnite talking about Fortnite? Well, there's a reason, because this week some stories came out where, some people in, like, some, like, mental health professionals are blaming Fortnite for video game addiction rising with kids right now. So, Steven, I wanted to go to you first here for a reason, because you work with kids, so, like, what do you think about this?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I believe it. I bet you it comes more with high schoolers than like the kids that I work with. I obviously now just gave away that I don't work with high schoolers, and that's fine. But I have everyone else, and they all seem to have more like parental guidance / supervision / like you're not allowed to play Fortnite except on weekends type of situation, which I've had a couple kids have. So I don't know if they're necessarily as easy to be addicted to it, but I can see how high schoolers could be, especially with like, I remember back when I was in high school, I played a lot of video games to the point where there'd be like Saturdays where I'd get up at like probably 9, 10 in the morning and play Left 4 Dead till 3, 4 in the morning. I mean, and a lot of that would be just chatting about random stuff, like shooting the crap and stuff. But we'd play a lot, and we'd play for, 15, 16 hours in a row. And I was kind of lucky, and like I never did homework because I passed all my tests, and I thought homework was stupid. And so, maybe I was addicted to video games and I just kind of could hide it well. But I get how it's a thing that happens, especially for high school kids. Like, that's where parents tend to start giving a little more freedoms. And as long as you're doing decent enough in school, some parents don't necessarily like chalk it up to like addiction. They can chalk it up to other stuff. And so I think it gets hidden, but I can see why Fortnite is being addicted or being blamed for video game addiction, because it is absolutely in the cultural like zeitgeist of America.
Yeah. Let me ask this question, Graham, before I turn it to you, and then Steven will give you a chance to answer this too. But so, do you think it's actually like video game addiction, or do you think there's some FOMO at work here? Because a lot of times with kids, like, you know, whatever the super popular thing is, it's like that becomes the craze, and you have to be all about that, or you're like an outsider, an outcast, or whatever. Like, Graham, you probably remember a time where if you didn't wear, like, Abercrombie every single day, you were like a loser.
Yeah, well,
You know?
yeah, not quite that, but no, I do remember that. I remember being in school and stuff, being made fun of because what I'm wearing is not the hip stuff that they're wearing, and it sucks. And like we make a big deal of it back then, but now we look back at it as like, well, if I go back now, I'll be like, well, who cares? I'm comfortable or whatever. But it's like a whole mentality thing. But like I know me growing up too, like I played a lot of video games as a kid and stuff like that, and but I still did other things as well, and it never got to the point where, oh, it's a problem or something like that. And like I know even sometimes you like pretend you're sick or something, don't want to go to school, and then you stay home and like watch movies or play video games. So like I'm not anyone who can label something exactly what it is, but in my opinion, like I don't think that's an addiction. Like only if like it's causing like marriage problems or like your health is just deteriorating, you're not even like looking after yourself properly, and like it's really affecting you, well then it can become an issue. But if like for example, like I know some kids or whatever, they pretend they're sick and stay because they want to play Fortnite even though their parents are like they can see through it because they're like super mom and stuff like that. So like I don't think that's an addiction. I think they just really like video games, maybe a little too much. So yeah, it's tough, and I'm sure like people will look for reasons to blame and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Steve, what do you think? Because, you know, you work with kids, so do you ever see situations where there's like, you know, the kids do the dances, they're talking about Fortnite, and then there's like the one kid who's like, I don't know what that is.
No, but I work at a small school, right? So a lot of kids like know each other and just don't care. If like a kid didn't know what Fortnite is, because Fortnite's kind of gone past the, you know, you need to know it to be cool. But I think that the FOMO thing, especially like towards the end of last year, was a big thing that was happening. A lot of kids like were of the I need to know everything about it as soon as it happens so I can, you know, talk to it at school, and it wasn't ever like that for, well, at least not about video games growing up, but for me at least. So yeah, I think FOMO is a big part of it, but I think because of the FOMO, I do see why addiction can like rise up in kids, because they're scared of missing out, so they start looking at everything, and now they become addicted. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying that is absolute fact. No way, shape, or form are we saying that, but I'm just saying that makes kind of like sense to me, you know, how one can cause the other. And correlation doesn't equal causation, but I can see why someone would say that Fortnite is being blamed for video game addiction in kids. Sure. I do know there are some kids that just are like, I don't play Fortnite. Like Fortnite's stupid, and I kind of go between two things. Like one, I'm like, yeah, Fortnite sucks, and the other is like, you know, you guys are still on season 6. Like I'm on season 15 of Fortnite. Like get on my level. Like, you know, me and Ninja just partied up, and I just like, it's so fun to mess with them about it, because I do kind of know enough about Fortnite where I can joke with them about it, and that's fun. But also I like being like, oh yeah, Fortnite's dumb. I play like Call of Duty or something.
Well, I guess my point, Steven, and I want to hear what you think on this, but I guess my point is, and again, we're not doctors, right? We're not making that sort of analysis here, but it's, you know, were these kids like super addicted to Call of Duty or something else before this, and will they be to any other game outside of Fortnite? Or, you know, so I think if it were video game addiction, it might fall into something where whatever game is out that's big right now is, you know, like Red Dead. You're playing that to the point that you're overlooking, like Graham said, some other stuff in life. Like, you know, for kids, like getting homework done, stuff like that, or getting enough sleep or anything like that, or never going like outside and doing things that they would normally do. Because they're playing video games? Or is it just this game that's become such a phenomenon that there's some of that wanting to be part of the crowd involved here?
I think it's the phenomenon because it's a multiplayer game. So there is no like end, right? Unless you like become the best Fortnite player in the world, but then you have to defend your title, right? So there is no end. It's the same reason that WoW was so big like 10 years ago, but WoW was also hidden more because video games were kind of still deemed as our Twitch chat has been saying, the devil's work, right? And that's kind of how they were viewed at. And like it was Dungeons and Dragons 20, 30 years ago that like was popular, but it was also hidden because people were so worried about the negative connotations associated with it. And I'd say video games didn't become mainstream popular until 8, 9 years ago, maybe a little farther back, but I still like remember kind of, and maybe this was more immaturity and youngness out of me, but not really wanting to tell people like I like loved playing video games because I was a little scared of what they would say, and now I don't care because, you know, whatever, doesn't bother me. I tell people I'm on a video game podcast, and I think that's awesome. But like, so yeah, video games have become more mainstream, but Fortnite just like WoW would have been this if WoW had come out 2-3 years ago, because WoW, it's one of those games that doesn't end. You can play with your friends for a long period of time, and that's just kind of how it is. Like this game just happened to come out when it did. Like the good thing about, well, good or bad depends on how you view this, but the nice thing about Fortnite for a lot of people is it's also free.
Yeah, I was
so
just gonna say that. Yeah.
Kids can absolutely, like, kids is the market here, and they're all like, you know, buy me season 6 like battle pass, and I'm like, all I want for Christmas is season 6 battle pass. I'm like, yo, Jake, you gonna buy me that? and I make these jokes because it's fun, and I kind of connect with them a little bit more, but that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah. Well, plus, you know, there's no financial barrier to it, right? And like you said, so it's easy for kids to jump in. Also, it's the game itself looks more cartoony, so for parents, it's like, well, it's not that bad, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I tell the kids not to talk about the gun parts at school for reasons that, like, again, I work with younger kids, and if they say it around the wrong younger kid, like, I don't want them freaking out or, you know, getting in trouble, and it's more of a safety thing. So I try not to let them talk about I just, you know, killed the guy. But I do let them talk about like Fortnite in general.
There's still the sect of people out there that just don't really know, and they're of the opinion that all, you know, gamers are like 35 and they live in mom's basement, and, you know, like the one South Park episode where they're all playing like World of Warcraft or whatever, and they all turn into like this huge guy that's like slouched back in the chair and never moves and never does anything except be in that chair playing the game. And we see it, like, you know, for example, you know, Bill Maher, who was in the news lately, but he's very much like this with games. Like, he rips gamers all the time in video games and says they're not art, it doesn't tell a story and stuff like that, and he's just flat out wrong. And, you know, well, I've brought him up, like, shame on him for what he said about the whole Stan Lee, you know, situation and him passing away. Like, that's just, to me, that's the mindset, though, that...
It's ignorance, I would say.
It is. It totally is. And... But yeah, I think... I don't know. I don't see the harm in getting, you know, really involved in a game. It doesn't mean you're addicted to it. I'm kind of with Graham, like, some of the stuff where if it starts costing you, you know, things in your life, that's a different story. And that's why I wanted to bring up, like, these articles also mention that in the UK, over 200 divorce filings have cited Fortnite as part of the reason for the divorce. I don't have the US numbers, but I know that World of Warcraft's peak, like, that was a situation as well. Now, that's probably more of a sign of addiction, but those aren't kids we're talking about. Those are adults, right?
Yes.
So, I don't know, Grandma. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Well, sorry, I've been talking a lot here, but you just said part of the reason, and 200's not that much. And part of the reason, again, does not mean the only reason. And it was just probably mentioned because it was added on top of the other, like, crap that I'm sure those relationships had. But so Graham, I'll let you go here.
Yeah. So
Well,
Graham, we'll give you the last
You're
word on this
beautiful
before we wrap it up.
Canadian.
Well, I'll say like it's easy to single out Fortnite because everybody knows what Fortnite is. Like I don't even know, I can't name anything that is as popular as Fortnite right now that's in the world. Trees maybe, I don't know. And maybe even some place where there's not even trees, you know, about Fortnite. So it's easy to like pick that as like the catalyst or say why this is problem is or it caused this. Just because that's what's common, and maybe they're even like trying to talk to somebody with common ground. So they're like, "Oh, that game Fortnite ruined my life, ruined my marriage," or something like that, right? So I just think it's like it's easy to single out that's the reason, but I'm sure there's other reasons, like the fact that that game and nothing else that was the only reason. Well, then it's an issue. But if that's not the only issue, then it's kind of not fair to single that out. And that's where I am.
Now, you know what though? Real quick, right before
No,
we
we're
get
done,
off-
Steven. Leave
No,
it.
no, we're not. We're not done until Steven says the last word. That's
right.
the rules. It's in the
It's
Geneva
last word
Convention.
with Steven.
Yeah, we should know this by now, Graham.
But my dad is coming over to look at something here, and I kind of want to ask him now. I think I'm going to tomorrow if he knows what Fortnite is, and I just want to see if he does, because like he probably has heard of it, because I'm sure one of the news channels he watches has, I'm sure, talked about it in some positive or negative connotation. I'm trying to not give too much away, but I wonder if he has.
Well, Graham said something about trees, and I really wanted to say something there, but I didn't.
Well, he said trees because he's a huge fan of Rush, and they're Canadian, so
Yeah.
you know. But
So, right. But yeah, I'll be interested to hear if he actually knows what it is. But anyway, going from some talking about some people that really apparently dislike video games to a celebration of games. So next week is the Game Awards, guys, and we're gonna make some predictions tonight. We picked out 5 of the categories that we really want to talk about. I know there's more than that, but I to be 100% honest with you, we'd be just blindly throwing a dart at the board if we were guessing like best esports coach, something like that. So I do want to remind everybody though that Game Awards are Thursday night, and we're going to be hosting that on our Twitch channel. So please come and hang out with us and watch it with us. We'll talk about what's going on in the show and who's winning and all that type of stuff. But so please do that. Thursday night we'll be hosting it, so come hang out. TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch, and we'll have a good time watching that. And it's kind of the, it's not the only award show. It's probably not even the one that's seen as the most prominent one, but it's the most popular one, and it's the most mainstream one. So it's kind of a, big thing every year when it comes around the first week of December. So we're going to make some predictions. And let's start, Graham, with best multiplayer game.
Best multiplayer.
Yep.
Now, should I say what the options are and which ones I choose, or should I just?
Go ahead and list the nominees, and then kind of which one you're choosing and why you think it's going to win. So I do want to stress, though, everybody, before we do this, what we're saying is we're predicting who we think is going to win, not necessarily our own personal choice for who should win.
True, because in a lot of cases they'll be different.
Yep.
So here are the nominees for best multiplayer game. See, like I'm on an award show here. I'm practicing. We have Fortnite. Then we have Call of Duty Black Ops 4, or as Steve likes to call it, Blops. I did that for you, Steven. Then we have Destiny 2, Forsaken,
Appreciate that.
then Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves. Now, my choice, we were just talking about it for a long time, so there's some foreshadowing. I'm going to go with Fortnite. It might not be my choice, but with this being the most popular thing besides trees, yes, Fortnite, that's my guess. Prediction.
All right,
Steven.
I'll go next here. Obviously, Sea of Thieves will win because it's the best multiplayer game. No. I'm just kidding.
No,
I agree with Graham.
76.
Fortnite will win this category. And I mean, whether it should or not is debatable, but I think it will.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't think there's any way Fortnite doesn't win this. I think it's a given. And, Credit to the other games for getting nominations, especially Sea of Thieves somehow.
Yeah.
But, I think it's absolutely going to be Fortnite. So, Steve, you want to take us through the next one?
Well, yeah, it got nominated because there's no other multiplayer games that came out this year. This was a pretty single-player heavy year. But sure, I'll take the next one. The next one's Best Game Direction. And the 5 nominees are A Way Out, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Red Dead 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Spider-Man. And the award for Best Game Direction goes to...
Wait, we're not ready for
Red
that
Dead
yet.
Redemption 2, probably. That's my,
Come on down.
I could see God of War sneaking in here, winning it, but I think it's really between those two, as I think most of the categories are. But I think Red Dead Redemption 2 had the best game direction, and I think it will win.
Yeah, I'll go next here. I also agree. I think it's gonna be Red Dead 2. I do see a chance where they give it to A Way Out just to get the guy back on stage again. To see if he has another meltdown like he did last year with the F the Oscars thing. So I'll be interested to see if that happens, because The Way Out was, a lot of people love that game.
That game was fun. I played that game and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you played with your roommate, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what was that 2-player playing at the same time? Different kind of split screen dynamic. Did that add a lot to it? Was it?
Yes, so much.
Okay.
It was great. I would say the best way to play it would be on couch next to a friend or loved one or whatever, just because you can kind of interact with each other and experience together. When you play online, basically you can't see them unless you're gonna Skype, go through all that effort. And if you can, I would say it's a great couch co-op game, and only one person needs to own it if you're not couch co-op, but you're playing with a friend online.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is a great idea that they did.
That was a great, kind of. I was about to say peace offering, but that's not a peace offering. That's just a great benefit to get more people to play. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was great. And as far as my guess goes, it's going to be Red Dead 2. I would be surprised if it don't win. And I'm with Tyler too. I believe A Way Out deserves an honorable mention but even Detroit Become Human, I didn't play it, but best game direction, I don't know if it was. They tried something experimental, basically.
Yeah.
I thought Way Out pulled it off really well. I'm not sure about Detroit Become Human. I can't talk about it, but my prediction is Red Dead 2.
All right.
I guess Tyler, you can go with the next one.
I'll take the next one. So I have best ongoing game, and I'll be honest with you, I hate this category. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's another way to give. It's just finding a way to get games back on the stage again after their first year release. But the nominees are Fortnite, Rainbow Six Siege, No Man's Sky, and Overwatch. And by the way, the reason I'm kind of soured on this category is because I still remember when Mario Kart 8 won again, when it wasn't even the year that they came out.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years later, 2 years later. That was sort of ridiculous to me. But anyway.
So we'll let it go.
My guess here, my prediction is going to be Fortnite. I think this entire category, and I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be really happy about it. I think this entire category is a reason to get Fortnite on the stage. So, I don't know. What do you guys think, Graham?
For me, I'm actually going to go different. I'm going to go with Rainbow Six Siege. I think that game's been supported really well. I think it still has a strong fan base. And, I know Fortnite is really popular with the multiplayer and stuff like that. But I think for ongoing, if they're going to try to go off a different one, I'm going to go with Rainbow Six Siege. I'd like to see that win. Even though I haven't played it, but I hear it's great.
I could see Rainbow Six Siege being the winner here, but you can't get in the way of the Fortnite train, and the Fortnite train's rolling, and
it's gonna run me
Fortnite
over.
will win. Yeah, it's gonna crush everybody else, including Overwatch, which is surprising because without Fortnite, Overwatch would probably be the runaway train here, and Fortnite just threw that off the tracks and was
Trains
like,
it off.
yeah.
We're all over the
no
train
way.
puns, eh?
Fortnite is winning here.
Chugging
let me
along.
ask you-
It's gonna
Should have made a
Steven.
bus pun. It would have made more sense, but
Yeah.
Fortnite will win.
Question for you, Steven, and just your opinion, but if Overwatch was also free to play, which one do you think people would like more? Which one do you think would be the bigger craze right now?
I think Overwatch. I think Overwatch is a better shooter and better game all around than Fortnite, but Overwatch costs $30. And it only costs $30. Well, at least on the PC. I don't know how much it is on the Xbox anymore. But, yeah, none of the kids talk about Overwatch. They all talk about Fortnite. They used to talk about Overwatch like a year ago when I first started where I'm at. They talked about Overwatch quite a bit. It wasn't as much as they talk about Fortnite, though. Like, every kid talks about Fortnite.
In fact, I think you said once, like, off-air, I think, that, you know, a kid where you work said at the school was like, you were talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Yeah, that was last.
And they were like, oh, but that's $60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about, because Fortnite was it was like just starting. It's like being big, and it wasn't even as big as it is now. And they were like, you know, did you see the like trailer for Black Ops 4? Like you know, it looks pretty cool, but you know, it's $60. And I'm like, yeah, that's normal. Like in my head, I didn't say it, but he's like, so I don't know if I'll be like not picking it up, but you know, he's like, $60, like that's a lot of money, and it is to a lot of kids. And I mean, it's kind of a lot to me, but you know.
Tell the truth, Steven.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot to you when you spend hundreds of dollars on Madden packs.
It's a lot to me when I'm sober.
His
now, when I'm drinking, $60 is like, you know, let it fucking let it rain. My bad. Family friendly.
Almost did it.
Dang it. I was so good too, but my bad. Sometimes
Put it back in the bottle.
Gotta say.
Put it back in the bottle.
All right.
All right. Let's quickly move on, Graham.
Grant, what's the next category?
Next category is Best Action/Adventure Game. Here are the nominees. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, we know Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to run away with this one as well. Honorable mention, I never played Spider-Man. I haven't played Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I played God of War. I actually bought a PS4 Pro just to play God of War. I love that game, although I just wanted to power through it, get through the story, because I thought the story was amazing. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to win it. And honorable mention as well, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, another game that I played, and I powered through it, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game. But I don't think it can compete with Red Dead Redemption 2. But those are 5 amazing games, nonetheless.
So, Steven, go ahead next.
I'm trying to compose myself.
Have you gotten all the soap out of your mouth yet?
Yeah. Well, I'm reading Twitch chat and they're cracking me up here. You know, I disagree with Graham here. I think God of War will win this category because I feel like if what I think is going to happen in Red Dead Redemption 2 kind of runs the table of awards for stuff, I think they're still going to find a way to give God of War, and rightly so. Like, God of War would be like one of the best games of the year if it wasn't for Red Dead Redemption 2, and we'll get to that next. But I think God of War will win this just because I think they want to give God of War an award, which they should, because God of War was a phenomenal game.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, Steven, you kind of stole my thunder there because I'm 100% with you.
Oh.
I think this is going to be the type of thing where, you know, even though Red Dead is going to basically clean house, I don't think they want this to be a show where the only 2 games that win anything are Red Dead and Fortnite.
Yeah.
And I can see this category going to God of War, and there's a chance for a real upset here, and not a super upset because I've actually really enjoyed the game, but also Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, no, not what I was thinking.
I was thinking Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but
I was going to say Spider-Man.
Shadow to me isn't good enough. Like, it's fun, it's just not good enough, and I really enjoyed Spider-Man, but I think the reason I enjoyed Spider-Man so much is more that it's just super fun rather than just really technically amazing.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man will win an award, but I'm not sure in what category. I could see best like performance because that's a category.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about like obviously the 5 we hit on were kind of like our 5 favorite or 5 biggest ones.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the and we haven't even got to the last one, but if you guys were paying attention, you could probably have guessed what the next one will be. But I do think Spider-Man will get an award somewhere in there. It deserves it. Spider-Man was phenomenal. Not perfect in any way, but it was very fun. Most fun I've had in a video game in a long time. Deserves something.
I think Insomniac does fun better than almost any other developer.
Yeah. And honestly, like, most fun should be an award in and of itself. Because sometimes games forget that they're supposed to be fun. Yeah. And Spider-Man was one that realized, and like you said, Insomniac has had good track records because Sunset Overdrive is very, very fun as well.
Yep.
But yeah, Spider-Man was just a lot of fun. Loved that game, and but I understand why it won't win awards over some of the other games because it's not technically like the best. And I mean, I don't want to go too far away from this, but people say movies should have this category as well because, Michael Bay movies aren't even close to being phenomenal in storytelling or a lot of that, but they tend to be the most fun movies out that year, and maybe they should be their own category.
Well, you think about a movie like, and actually, Graham, we were talking about this off air before we went live tonight, but, a movie like The Expendables, super fun. It's definitely not technically amazing. It's not going to win Best Picture, but it's really fun. So I agree with you, Steven. I think there should be something like that in the awards, and I think that's where games like Spider-Man can really shine and get the recognition they deserve. So,
yep, I agree.
All right, Steven, it's on you to announce the last and biggest category.
I'm gonna channel my inner Oscars presenter.
Just keep the F-bombs in, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently. And the next category, the final category we will talk about is Game of the Year. And the awards for Game of the Year are as follows. First, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Next, we have Celeste. Then we have God of War. I'm tired of doing this. God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Monster Hunter World round off the top 6 games that are nominated for Game of the Year. And I'll let you guys go first because I want to go last. So we'll go with Tyler first.
Okay. So Steven, if you were really doing it like Oscar style, you'd be like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Ubisoft.
Ah, yeah, and then there'd be some clapping.
Yeah, right. And you have to cut to the developer in the stands, right?
Yeah,
or in the audience and all that stuff. Yeah. So to me, this is a no-brainer. This is a runaway for Red Dead Redemption 2. This would be one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen if any other game wins this. I've said it before. I said it on 136, which was our Red Dead review episode. To me, it's the best video game I've ever played. It's the most comprehensive, thorough, deep, great storytelling, all that stuff. It's all there. I don't see how any other game wins this. Graham?
Well, it's Celeste, obviously. No, I'm kidding. But it's great to see Celeste on that list. It's not something most people would think to see on there. That's an indie title, isn't it?
Yes, and it should win the best indie game because that game was phenomenal. Loved Celeste, amazing game.
Yeah. So, well, the fact that it's nominated for Game of the Year, I'm sure it will win best indie title.
You would
just
think,
predicting,
right?
But yeah, I'm with Tyler. It's Red Dead Redemption 2. I would be ultimately surprised. And if any other one did win it, I'd love to see it be God of War, but it's going to be Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, if any other game does win this, it will be God of War. There is no way you can say any of the other games on that list are better than those 2 games. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is the better game overall at least in just everything. I loved God of War, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is absolutely perfect. It's probably the best video game ever made at this point. And I know that's high praise, but it is. And I know we said we wouldn't get into our thoughts, but, I'm just going to say it. And so, yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 wins, and I think rightly so.
So let me ask this question real quick, and it's a hypothetical, I know, but what if Red Dead came out last year? Because it was originally supposed to. Remember that. And you would have had, for Game of the Year, Red Dead 2 against Breath of the Wild.
Well,
Graham said Breath of the Wild.
I am biased, but I still think Breath of the Wild is a far better game. I would honestly...
Far better, Graham?
Oh my god.
Well, okay.
Come on.
Okay, but in my
hate mail
opinion,
at the Gaming Hub podcast.
No, it's fine. But there's evidence to back this up.
Is there, though?
For me, there is. Breath of the Wild came out, and I was focused on nothing but playing Breath of the Wild. And I think I beat it twice, actually. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption in maybe a couple weeks now. And Tyler asked me, like, will I go back and play it? And I was, like, kind of hesitant. And a part of me was like, would I like to play Breath of the Wild again? And yes. Will that happen? I don't know. So I just love, like, just exploring the world, and I thought it was great. Like, experiencing the game for the first time was phenomenal. And experiencing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time wasn't phenomenal. Like, it's a great experience, but I've had those types of experience with other games. Not as good graphics or storytelling and stuff like that, but the main general concept of a single player kind of thing was there. But Breath of the Wild was like a whole new mind-blowing experience. Like, going anywhere you want, climbing anything, like having no boundaries was just awesome.
Well, Graham, I'll tell you,
I like it more.
Okay, well, fair enough, but I'll tell you, you've got a fan club of one on Twitch right now.
Thank you, fan club of one. That's well, we got two.
But see, it's like
me and him.
It's like one of those, but Red Dead Redemption is one of those games you just need to kind of take slow. You need to suck it all in, you know, and you have to appreciate it. Like it's not a game you can binge. Okay, you need to take it like an hour at a time and to really understand what's happening. Zelda was like, it was fun, and it was like, you know, I'm gonna go do 5 million shrines because puzzles are really fun. But if the shrines were gone, the game would suck. So Breath of the Wild was garbage, and it was a terrible game, and 0 out of 10. I'm just kidding, but...
Steven, what do you think? What if it had come out last year?
Oh, I still think Red Dead Redemption 2 would be Game of the Year, okay.
Oh,
but the Game Awards tend to favor, like, Nintendo above all else, and so, who knows? But I don't think it was a better game. I loved Breath of the Wild. Don't get me wrong. I do give Breath of the Wild a 10. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. But the Red Dead Redemption 2 is just next level, and a lot of it is because of story. But the gameplay was fun also, which is why I don't give a lot of credit to The Last of Us, which also had a great story, but not so much fun gameplay.
Mm-hmm. But, like, if you listen, and please everybody listen to our Red Dead Redemption 2 review episode, like, Steven, we started talking about story, and the more we talked about it, like, the deeper we got, and you just from discussing it, like, that story's so much deeper than you even realize on the surface, you know? And there's so much stuff going on there, and it's just amazing in so many ways. Even the smallest mission that you think would be, like, really insignificant can turn out later when you look back on it to be really huge.
Yes, and I know exactly now what you're referring to, and I didn't even notice it because it just kind of went off, and like it makes me want to replay the game again. And I've restarted Breath of the Wild, and I didn't make it super far. I put probably 10 hours into the replay, and there's just a lot of it I just don't care that much about. But
like Steven, you said the most fun thing to you was what the puzzle, the shrines.
Yeah, I love the shrines, but again, I just like puzzles and like kind of, you know, tested my brain a little bit. And but Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't need that to be a great game. So
all right. So 2-1 there, split decision.
That's fine.
And that's okay. Like, you know, Graham, I admire you because it's not like Zelda's a bad game. It's not.
Well, obviously, we're kind of comparing it.
Not. Like they both got 10s almost everywhere. So it's just, I think it comes down to taste a little bit at that point. But yeah, I just find Red Dead to be probably the most complete game I've ever played in a lot of ways. So, all right. Anything else, guys, on the Game Awards? And just a reminder, everybody, we're going to be hosting that on our Twitch channel next Thursday, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. So please come join us for that. Hang out. We'll talk about it as the show's going on. And guys, anything else on the Game Awards that you want to mention before we move on?
No.
All right. Sounds good. And that's going to do it for news, everybody. But before we move into releases, I think it's time to give away our clue for the week. Only 4 left, including this one. So, if you're looking to win that Nintendo Switch, time's running out. So make sure get your guesses in. But remember, you only get 2 of them. But here's the clue for this week. There's many different ways to experience me, but it always ends the same way. So one more time, there's many different ways to experience me, but it always ends the same way. So after tonight, there's only 3 clues left, and they will start to get more specific as we go, especially those final 3. And if you want that extra one, just a reminder, join up on Patreon, patreon.com/gaminghub. For as little as $2 a month, you get the extra clues every single month for October, November, and December, and an extra guest to use for a total of 3 instead of 2. All right, guys, let's move into releases for the week.
Now in
We'll
stores.
start with Xbox. So, this week, you can get Gwent, the Witcher card game, on the 4th of December. Just Cause 4 also on the 4th. Steven, you and I were talking about that. We're really looking forward to that. Looks really fun. And Battle Princess Maryland on the 6th.
Another game that Steven's looking forward to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Games with Gold. For December, you can get Cube 2 through the 31st. You can get Race the Sun still through the 15th of December. And through backwards compatibility, you can get Dragon Age 2 through December 15th. That is it for Xbox. Steven, what do we have for PlayStation?
All right. For PlayStation, you can get Persona 3 Dancing in the Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight on the 4th. And there is a collection that comes with that. And I think it might even come with the Persona 4 dancing game as well. Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales also comes on the 4th. And finally, a game that I didn't even know that was coming, but I'm kind of excited. And if it comes to Xbox, I might pick it up, is The Last Remnant Remastered, coming on December 6th. And finally, it's the last week to get these PS Plus games before they're gone and the new ones come, and that's Yakuza Kiwami and Bulletstorm. Graham, what do we got for Nintendo?
Okay, for Nintendo, on the 4th, you can get Toki. On the 7th, which is a huge day for all Nintendo fans, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will be available. And also on the 7th, which who really cares because nobody's going to play anything else? No, that's not true. I'm actually curious about this game as well, and I might pick it up. It's Sega Genesis Classics. So you can pick that up on the 7th as well. And that's what we have for the Nintendo releases. Tyler?
Cool.
Steven? Somebody?
All right. Well, we're going to go into questions here.
Question.
And
All right.
a new thing
I thought
we
that's
got.
what we did around now.
Bam.
Yeah, a new thing we got is the ability for you guys to call in and leave a voicemail. Tyler, you want to tell them how they can do that?
Yep, so just head over to Discord or Facebook. So again, Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums, and Discord, you can get the link from either Facebook or Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch, and you get the link to our Discord, join there, and we post that link every single week where you just go in, click on the link, and leave a voice message. When you do that, please leave your name. Treat it just like when you listen to like a radio show, like sports talk show or any other kind of show, and people call in with questions. Treat it just like that. Tell us who you are, and say whatever you want. If you want to give some feedback, whatever, and ask a question if that's what you choose to do. So, but that's available there for everybody. I think there's a limit of like 1 minute or more for audio, so don't feel rushed. It takes a lot to talk for a minute, except for us, because we thought, this episode was going to be a little shorter. It's not. So,
surprise, not me.
Yeah. So, but that's how to do that. So again, through Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums, or through Discord, and you can get to Discord through either Facebook or Twitch at TXH Gaming Hub. There, Steven.
All right. Well, the first question is from Piracy. Let's listen in here.
What's up, gentlemen? It's your boy, King of the Discord, Piracy, coming at you. And I'd like to know, what do you look for most in a video game?
All right. Tyler, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so for me, and thank you, Piracy, for being the very first person to send in an audio question to our show. You've actually been an awesome member of the community. Want to just send a shout out there, and thank you for that. We really, really appreciate it. You've been a huge part of our Discord, etc. So thank you. But for me, it's absolutely story. There's so many games that are a lot alike in so many ways, and to me, what sets one game apart from another is story, and I think that's why Red Dead 2 connected so much with me. Yeah, it's absolutely story for me. Graham?
Yeah, and also, now that I can actually single out somebody, Piracy, it's good to have you, buddy, and I appreciate you being a part of the community. And I'm just wondering, what's happened with you in fantasy hockey? Have you just given up? I don't know. I think you can do better than that, so step up your game a little bit there. I can give you some tips if you're looking... No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and if you've given up, you can just trade them to me, and I'll beat Graham for you, bud.
No, then it wins. That's not fair. But to get to your question, which is a great question, by the way, and so I think it goes to show that I'm more of a single-player fan. Like Fallout 3 and 4 has been some of the best, and Breath of the Wild have been some of the best experiences. So, and they're not always really big on story. I kind of like some kind of story, but that's not my main focus. Basically, it's just enjoyable to explore. I like exploring and just wasting my time. And even Fallout 3, sometimes I just got so lost in those tunnels and through these doors and just stumbling around and just discovering new things. So I just like when it's a big world with discovery. And I know Red Dead Redemption 2 has a lot of discovery, but I haven't sunken my teeth into it far enough. So don't be hating on me for not praising Red Dead Redemption 2.
But Graham, I was going to say, I've always felt with you, for what games you really like. I've always felt like you love the games where you can kind of just go along at your own pace.
Yep.
And, fool around in the game, do whatever, and not feel pressure to do any specific thing.
Exactly.
And that became so clear to me when the three of us played Destiny 2 together.
Ugh.
And when we do strikes. Where we do the Nightfalls.
The nightmares.
Oh, yeah, because they were
Nightmares for
timed
Graham.
and stuff. And Graham was not, timed.
I
I'm
didn't
like, Graham, let's get going. And Graham's like, but I'm still shooting this enemy that's 10
Yeah,
minutes
I know,
away
right?
from where you're at. I'm
Graham's
Graham,
gonna
we
take
don't
out
care
every
about
single
the
enemy.
Let's look at the finals.
I know, and the clock's ticking, and we're like, come on, Graham, come on. And Graham's like, but there's still enemies here. We're
true.
like, no, come on.
It took me a while before I accepted that you just run by them. You let them live, let them be evil and corrupt the world.
But isn't that, Graham, isn't that a big part of why Destiny is just not for you at all?
Oh, 100%. And another thing, too, is I enjoy puzzles in games. Tomb Raider puzzles have probably been some of the best puzzle, and Ocarina of Time. Those dungeons, I recommend anybody to try that.
But even that stuff, Graham, for you isn't timed, right? You can still kind of take your time and enjoy it.
Yep.
And I think that's 100% for you.
Yep.
Steven, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, did the puzzle, the Tomb Raider, tombs get better with puzzles as the series went on? Because I didn't hate the first Tomb Raider. I enjoyed a lot of it, but I started the second one and I just can't get into it. And I love puzzles as well. I love that sort of thing. That's why I like Breath of the Wild so much. It's why Portal 1 and 2 are two of my favorite games of all time. And I tend to play puzzle games a lot. And the problem that there hasn't been a good one on the Xbox recently, or really on the Xbox One this generation, kind of sucked. But had they really gotten that much better?
So,
'Cause
Graham, do you
But when I
think-
meant
do you-
Tomb Raider, I meant like other ones from 360 and stuff.
Oh,
Tomb Raider
gotcha.
Underground, like
Gotcha.
like
But
some
I
of
was
those.
going to ask you, Graham. Do you think the tombs are better in Rise or Shadow?
They're both pretty mediocre.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, then yeah, that makes me not want to
And-
play them. And not
Honestly,
care.
like the reason I love Rise of the Tomb Raider so much, and it is still one of my absolute favorite games this generation, is because of the story in it and just how good the game flows within the framework of that story. Shadow, for me, like, had some really cool moments. In fact, Graham, like the one moment where she like comes up onto
Yeah.
the lake,
Yeah,
or whatever. Like, that's one of
Spoilers!
the coolest moments I've seen in a
Oh.
video game.
she comes in water. Ooh.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I think it was in one of the trailers as well.
Before she came out,
Yeah.
she jumped in there too, just so
Yep.
you guys know.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like I
but,
saw
like,
her
spoiler.
in one of the trailers at E3, but
Like that moment is one of the coolest moments I've seen in a video game this generation in Shadow. But overall, like, Rise for me is the much better game. What do you think, Graham?
I think so too. I like the overall story, and obviously you got to play all three of them. But I think Rise was my favorite for sure. Experiencing Rise was awesome.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to answer the question now because I have not. What I look for most in a video game is I look for fun. Fun is what like convinces me to play longer than 5 minutes, right? And I prefer when games are fun, but a good story is what keeps me. So it kind of needs both because I did finish the first Tomb Raider game because I was interested in the story, despite not having absolute fun with the game. But fun is the most important part to me. So that's what I look for most. And it's why I'm super excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 because that looks so much fun. And yeah, so let's get into
All right.
next
Yeah, what's next?
voice call here.
Hey guys, Shadow X here. I just want to know, are you guys going to smash or are you guys going to pass on the upcoming Smash Bros. Game? Thanks.
All right, I'll go first here because I got you guys went long-winded with the first one. Ooh, this is a tough one. Like I've been on the fence. At first I thought I was going to smash, then I thought I was going to pass, and now I'm not sure. Like it's going to be one of those things where
It's gonna be one of those two.
it's on the 7th where it's like, okay, I'm going to go get it, or
He's
I'm
gonna
not.
buy it.
And I
predict it.
probably will end up with it, but I don't know if I'm going to play it as much as I thought I was going to, because I've heard the single player has a lot of fun things to do in it, and it does kind of have me a little excited, but I don't like fighting games that much, despite having fun with previous Smash Bros. Games. I don't know how much I'll play online. I don't enjoy getting my butt handed to me, and saved it. And I don't have the time to sink into learning one character's like nuances and all the way they fight, and learning the counters to every single other character. Especially considering there's like 5 billion characters in this new Smash Brothers, except Waluigi, because Nintendo hates their fans.
Steven.
So that's my thing.
Yeah.
So Graham, you're the big Nintendo. So
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna explain a problem I'm having. Well, I'll tell you first. I have it pre-ordered with the edition which comes with the controller, and
Cheating again.
cheating again, as Tyler puts it. It is on its way to Tyler's place first because
Yeah.
I could not get it shipped to Canada. Which, Amazon, if you're listening, you got to treat people in Canada a little better. Just saying. So I have an edition going to Tyler, and I'm probably going to be, I'll say worst case scenario, 2 weeks after it's released before I get it, with traveling, with shipping, and
Customs
if
and all that stuff.
strike,
Yep.
whatever. So, but I want to play that game like right away, and I have my roommate is a big fan of it, and some friends, and we can definitely have a good match going. So I have a dilemma. Do I buy it for a second time? Do I buy it digitally so I don't need the controller? Or do I buy it and then trade it in with a just a $20 hit when the other one shows up.
Mhm.
But I'm definitely going to play it. I don't know how competitive I'll get into it. I'm hoping to get into it and really enjoy it and just have a really good experience, because I haven't played this since Nintendo 64. And I know it's come a long way, but when they announced it, I watched the videos and I got super psyched for it. It's a little intimidating with all those characters. Like, holy moly, there's a lot of characters you can put in a lot of time learning their moves. But I think I'm just going to pick 2 or 3 and just see what happens. And yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm definitely going to smash it. Hopefully I don't end up smashing my Switch from playing it and getting frustrated.
Well, it's a good thing you have multiple Switches, Graham.
Yeah, that's why I got a backup.
So for me, I think I'm gonna pass up front, because first of all, fighting games, just for me, like, not my favorite genre, not even close. It's probably my least favorite genre, to be honest. I don't play them enough online to get really good at it, so it just ends up being frustrating and not all that fun. Now, there is the element of, like, you get all these characters that are so well known from the Nintendo universe, right? And, like, that's awesome. It's just, I don't know if that's enough for me to go out and get it. But I will say, I learned tonight that, the edition that, Cheater Graham is sending to me is currently selling for like $800. So
don't think
Graham,
about
it might just get lost somewhere in the mail, just saying.
Well, how do you think we're going to pay for our Switch giveaway,
Right? Well, Graham just needs to buy like one more Switch, and then we're like good.
Yeah.
So,
Don't worry, guys. If you're listening, the giveaway is not Graham's used Nintendo Switch, because he bought
no,
another
it's not.
one.
It's Graham's new Nintendo Switch. Now we're kidding.
How about we switch topics? Oh,
Switch.
had
All
to-
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
You knew
go
it was
to the
coming
last
eventually.
question.
Steven, I'm really looking forward to this question. Go ahead.
I'm not, but here we go. Anyways.
Why did Steven get so upset with Graham for not knowing what loot crates were?
Well, thank you, Heather, for asking that question. I guess
thank you.
I'll answer this if I must. I can. I do apologize to Graham. I did maybe get a little too frustrated. He was probably joking, and I didn't understand the joke, and it just, sometimes I can be a dick. And again, sorry for those with sensitive ears listening.
Surprising.
I know. I'm normally a very nice guy, but
Yeah.
so apologies to Graham for that. And yeah, sometimes I just I miss a joke or whatever, and I'm not perfect. I never claimed I was, and so my bad.
Well, not on air anyway.
Yeah, not on
Yes.
there. Off
But-
air. Ooh,
Yeah.
Well, I'll say apology accepted, Stephen.
thank you, Graham.
Yeah, and I'll just say, like, I can totally believe this. You can be a dick sometimes. So let's just move on. What else do we have?
That was the last voicemail question, but we loved having those.
Yes,
So
thank you.
definitely send those in if you want to hear your beautiful voice on the show. But just say your name, because otherwise we wouldn't have known it was Heather that sent that in. But all right, next question. Let's go. Avery Wilson asks, "What do you believe is the game announcement from Obsidian Entertainment coming this next week?"
Man, I know everybody's hoping it's
Fable.
Fable. But I don't know if it will be. I hope it is. That's going to be my answer. I hope it's Fable, just so the people that are really psyched for that get that payoff and have a lot of energy and excitement going into the end of the year.
I disagree. I think it's going to be I've heard rumors that they have a Fallout-esque game that's their own, and I think it's going to be that.
Really?
Like a follow-up, not successor, but spiritual successor, because they don't own the rights, to like New Vegas. And I would absolutely be 100% okay with that. I thought New Vegas was one of the best Fallout games, especially after Fallout 1 and 2.
Yeah, that would actually be amazing. Do I think that? I don't know. They can't be too close to Fallout, because Bethesda might be looking to get a little more flack come their way, and they might try to, like, I don't know, sue them or stop them or something, right? Hopefully that's not the case. I'm thinking it's going to be a new IP, and I really don't know what direction they're going to go in, but it seems like they have a pretty good track record, and I'm definitely looking forward to the announcement. So I don't think it's going to be Fable. I know everyone's wishing it would be Fable, but which would be amazing. I would love to be wrong, but I think it's going to be a new IP, and I'm interested to see what direction they choose.
All right. What's up next?
All right. Next question comes from Trevor Alexander Catlett. Asked, with the PS5 rumored to come out in 2020, what would be the things you would all look for to buy it over a Pro? Backwards compatibility? Question.
All right, so I'll go first here. Yeah, backwards compatibility would be nice, but I'll say this. Backwards compatibility always sounds really nice, but then when you get it, like, I've never really used it. Not that much. And I think it's one of those things that people like the idea of, but they don't use a whole lot. A lot of gamers anyway. I think it's really beneficial for people who have never had that system before that want to go back and play some of the older games, like, Purple Rainbow Unicorn Graham. For me. But, yeah, it's, I don't know if it's that, but for me, it absolutely has to have that 4K disc drive.
Yes.
And if it doesn't, then I'd really like to see a version like Xbox is talking about where it doesn't have the drive at all. It's just a hard drive console.
So, for me, you're talking about backwards compatibility. I think the big thing about that is, say I got the PS5 and it plays my PS4 games, then I would sell or trade off my PS4s, because I don't need multiple consoles if I have one console that will play the game from it. So I think that's the biggest benefit to, in my opinion, to most people. Like, why do I need two consoles that will play the same game? Why don't I just get rid of the other one? Unless it's a special edition, something like that. But as far as what I'm looking forward to, I really don't, personally, I don't care about the console. I more care about the game. Like, if they come out with another God of War, which I know they will, then I will buy the system. This is a reason why maybe they don't want to do backwards compatibility, because I will buy a PS5 to play the new God of War. But I won't buy the system just to play, like, third-party titles or something like that. So they got to be a really good first-party title, like God of War, pretty much. I don't know any other ones. So that's the only thing that would make me buy another one.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, like, we all own it over the Pro, so I don't know if there's like, anything that would make us want to, buy it over the Pro, because we're already on a Pro. But I am interested in PS5. I hope the PS5 comes out, like, a year before Xbox, because then I can buy both. Like, I can justify it a little easier, if I have a year to save up the money for both, rather than have a year to save up the money for one and then buy the next one a year later. Because I like owning both. I've owned both for both generations now, but I haven't owned both right away, and I would like to own both right at the offset. But I kind of with Tyler, like, I've never really used, like, PS Now. I've never used PS Now. And I've used backwards compatibility on the Xbox a little, but I've never fully played a game to completion with it. I do like the idea of it, and it really does. The best part about it is it justifies, like, buying games digitally, because it's like, okay, if it's backwards compatible, it means I have the ability to play all the games I've spent money on, and I don't know what else PS5 would need to get me to buy it. I honestly think their games lineup potentially and their track record, because I think PlayStation built up a lot of goodwill with previous releases for what I'm going to get. It's going to make it worth it to me to buy a PS5. But I do agree with Tyler a little bit. I would like the disc drive to be 4K, if only for the rare physical game that I'll buy. And most of those will probably be because of, like, collector's editions. Because I do like buying collector's editions for games I know I'm going to love. And, like, I bought for Kingdom Hearts and for Persona 5 and Final Fantasy and all that stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. But as long as the price point doesn't come in at like $600-$700, like
It's not gonna
I'll
be
be
that.
picking it up. If it comes in at $400, which I hope it does. I don't know if it will, but I hope
I
it
could
does.
see 500 this time around.
I think five is probably the fair market value there, but yeah, I'll pick it up at 5. I think, especially if Xbox has their like, spend $30 over a 2-year contract type deal, then absolutely. But
So, Steven, you know that they're going to come out like a week apart, right? Just like in 2013.
sure, because my wallet loves me so much. But
Yeah, I mean, that's totally going to happen. And so here's my scenario. What if they have Death Stranding and one of the other big titles, like Ghost of Tsushima, at release?
then I absolutely will pick it up, and I'll pick it up over an Xbox if that's the case.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
even if I love Halo, don't get me wrong, I do.
Mhm.
But those two games make me want that system quite a bit.
So let me
And
ask you this. What about Death Stranding? Do you know that would make you say you want it more than Halo Infinite?
well, Halo 5 is my answer.
Okay. That's
Halo 5
fair.
and Halo 4. Like
Yeah, that's fair.
honestly, Halo 3 was Halo Reach was the last fun Halo game. Like, I've enjoyed Halo 5 a lot. I liked Halo 4, I guess. No, I wouldn't even say that. I played Halo 4. I spent time in Halo 4. I didn't love it. Halo Reach, I loved. But 343 took over. I haven't loved any of their stuff. I like the Halo series as a whole. Like I said, Halo 2 still might be my favorite game of all time. I don't think it's the best game of all time, but it's my favorite game of all time.
Sure.
But it's just I don't trust that Halo 6 will bring back the magic that Halo 3 Online was. Because Halo 3 Online for me was magic.
Okay. That's fair. I'm still really, I don't want to say I'm concerned about Death Stranding. I just have no idea what it is yet.
I don't think anybody does, Tyler.
No, and I think the people that say they do are kidding themselves. Like they're in fanboy mode. So I feel like, I just want to see more from it. We're not going to see more on it for a long time. Because they're not doing PSX and they're not doing E3.
That's true. That's
So-
true. But I'll give you this. If there's a Fable game, if Xbox has the launch lineup that I think they're going to have, that will convince me. But until that point, I'm leaning PlayStation, assuming Ghost of Tsushima and not Days Gone, but
Death
oh my
Stranding.
God. Yeah, Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Or
The one we were just
games.
talking about.
Isn't the wild card sort of these new Xbox studios? Like what they're going to have ready to go within the first couple months?
Well,
Yes.
apparently, the Game Awards, we're going to learn 10 new titles.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
those will be for this generation. I think they'll be for this generation.
Yeah.
It will
maybe.
be interesting to see how far out some of those games are announced for. I'm curious, and I haven't been curious
Yeah.
about the Game Awards in a long time, so that's saying something.
Yeah. All right. What else we got? We got time for a couple more.
All right. Well, Boss Man Booth asked pizza rolls or bagel bites.
Okay, so I want to go to Graham first on this because Graham previously has told us that he has no idea what pizza rolls are.
No, I've never had pizza rolls. I've had bagel bites, so I gotta choose what I know. Even though I love pizza, and I had these things called pizza fingers that you get at the restaurants way back in the day. So I'm guessing it's like that. All right, I'm just gonna go with pizza rolls. I have never had it, but it sounds awesome. Pizza rolls. Bagel bites were not special.
And I can confirm before we go to Steven here because I actually went and looked because I didn't believe Graham. So I had him tell me like grocery store chains in Canada, and I went and looked on their sites, and they do not have Totino's pizza rolls. They don't carry them. So, maybe it's like a craft dinner conspiracy, Graham.
Maybe.
But, yeah, they don't exist there. Steven, which one for you?
I do like bagel bites. I'm not gonna lie, but I will go with pizza rolls. However, caveat: cheese pizza rolls, the cheese Totino's pizza rolls, are freaking disgusting. They're gross. They deserve to be wiped off the face of the earth. I don't know how people like those because they're terrible. I remember I accidentally bought them once from like Smart and Final, and it was just like they're disgusting. I'm like I cooked like, I don't know, 15, 20 of them, and I ate like 3 of them, and I'm like, nope, they're going in the trash. Like I was, Joe Bastianich on MasterChef, and it was just like, nope, that's no for me, and I threw the plate in the trash and it cracked.
Yep.
That's kind of where I'm at. But the meat ones, the meat-filled ones, like, they're pretty good. So
Yeah.
I do like those. But I don't have a problem with bagel bites, and I'll eat either of them. Pizza rolls tend to be cheaper, and so...
No, bagel bites are fine, but pizza rolls are where it's at for me, and especially, like, the combination ones that have, like, the sausage and pepperoni.
Yeah.
Like, those are the best. So I'm definitely going to side with pizza rolls on this one, even though that's not to say bagel bites are bad. All right, one more. What do we got?
Well, let's go big. Go big or go home.
Okay.
Mr. Jonas Blaine. And by the way, let's just go right now. As you know, the end of the month we do a monthly winner, and you win a gift card for a console of your choice. And the winner is Mr. Jonas Blaine, who asked the question. So congratulations to you. You send one of us a message when you listen and claim your prize. But Mr. Jonas Blaine asks, with the year coming to an end, do you think that this has been the best year overall for gaming yet? Games, not consoles, in caveat. Or has there been a better year for you? If so, when was it? And Tyler, I'm going to go to you first because I know that you have a game or a year in mind because we talked about it off show. And so I would like to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks, Mr. Jonas Blaine, and everybody out there, if you just submit a question to be read on the show, you're entered to win our monthly giveaway for everyone in the community at the end of every single month. And if you win, you have to reach out to us to get the prize. The only difference between that and the Patreon giveaway is for Patreon, we reach out to you. But so, Mr. Jonas Blaine, please reach out to us, and thank you so much for your support and for contributing in the community. So, for me, this year has been fantastic, including having, like I said earlier in the show, the best game I've ever played. My dogs agree because they're like wrecking crap here in the apartment. But no, for me, it's still 2007. Because when you get one year that has Halo 3 and it has BioShock, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and it has Call of Duty 4, and it has a lot of other games too that are just held in such high regard. Like 2007 is seen as the gold standard for video games, and it's one of the reasons that last generation was seen as, such a high watermark for video games. And I think it's so tough to beat that. When you look at outside of Red Dead 2, you look at some of the other games that are just, seen as really good this year. You have God of War, which is fantastic. You have Spider-Man, which is great. You have Assassin's Creed, great. They just, to me, when you look at those games as a whole, they don't hold up against that 2007 lineup. So for me, I just feel it's 2007.
Okay, I'll go next. For me, it's going to be 2015 because it had Fallout 4, it had Rise of the Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Witcher 3, The Witch Hunt, Bloodborne. So those were all amazing titles. A lot of those actually got 10s. Well, I don't know about a lot of them. Some of them had 10s. They had high scores anyways. That's mine. What about you, Steven?
Yeah, and Graham, 2015 was a great year in gaming, but not the best. This year does come close, but I wanted to say this year was the best year, but I do have to agree with Tyler. 2007 was phenomenal. You did have Call of Duty 4, you did have Halo 3, you had a ton of other games. I mean, heck, Guitar Hero 3 and Rock Band also came out that year, and those games started a phenomenon for 4 or 5 years of Guitar Hero and Rock Band games coming out almost yearly to be some of the biggest games that came out. A fun fact, the first Witcher game came out in 2000.
Yes, it did.
In 2007. And apologies real quick to Twitch. Somehow it got muted when I think it was the hotkeys messed up. So apologies to you guys if you didn't hear that. I said that 2007 was the best year in gaming because of some other games. I think Skate, the first Skate came out that year too. I'm on the list, and it's funny because I like 2007 to me it's kind of split in the way I view the year, because at the beginning of the year I only owned the first or like PS2, right? I only had a PS2 and I think I had a GameCube, and in like 2007 was when I started high school. And I ended up getting a 360 early on in the year and starting the addiction to video games that I have now, jokingly and such. But like also MVP baseball, like the NCAA game, I think that might have been the last year they made that game, came out in 07 at the beginning. And I loved that game as well. So yeah, 2007 was a phenomenal year. But this game was probably the closest any game has come to 2007.
Yeah, I can go with that. But, Steven, when you look back at 07, like, not just the fact that they were great games, but how much they changed the game in terms of how games within those specific genres were made. Like,
especially the last half of that year.
Yeah, Call of Duty 4 changed the way that multiplayer shooters were made.
Absolutely.
And I think that Rock Band Guitar Hero, introduced an entirely new way of playing games.
Yep.
That was really influential and different. I could even say that for BioShock a little bit. And, there's just so many games there that stand out, like The Witcher, like starting something that would be built on and turn into this masterpiece, less than 10 years later. It's just such a great year for gaming and such an influential year. I don't see how you get better than that.
Yeah. And we didn't even mention Mass Effect 1.
No, I know, yeah.
But that game was crazy. And the best game that never got talked about until a few years later was Portal. Portal also came out.
Yeah, and the Orange Box was released on console that year.
I was going to say, hidden in the Orange Box.
Yep.
Portal. So, yeah, it was a great game. Or a great year for games.
Yeah, it was.
And, I mean, I hope we have this question every year from now on, because that just means we as gamers get phenomenal games. And I think we're going to, like... The lineup for Xbox, especially, PlayStation kind of has hit the end of their like amazing game releases. And I
for
still,
this gen anyway.
Yeah, for sure. But I still hope they have a lot of great stuff coming soon. But Xbox, they're lining up to create some phenomenal games with some great studios. So I'm excited, and I think this conversation might happen. I hope next year, but I think 2020, 2021. Potentially. So, yeah, it's just a great time for us as gamers. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, guys, let's wrap this up. Like I said, we thought this was going to be a short episode. It is not. So, you're welcome, I guess.
You're welcome from all three of us, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, let's get out of here. So, this is going to do it for episode 137. We'll be back next week with 138. But before we leave, we want to make sure that you know how much we want you to join the community. So there's a few different ways to do that. Go to Facebook, facebook.com, and look up the Gaming Hub forums. There you can go to Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. Again, we're going to be hosting the Game Awards Thursday night. So if you haven't joined our Facebook or our Twitch community yet, please do that. Hit follow and come kind of share that experience with us. Hang out with us while we watch that. And we can all chat about it together. From either of those places, you can get a link to our Discord, where you can fill out the form for the nominations for our awards, which will take place the last episode of the year. And if you want to help support the show, there's a couple different ways to do that. So we mentioned Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to spend that on us, we really appreciate it. If not, spend it on somebody, help them grow and achieve their goals. We also have Patreon, patreon.com/gaminghub, where for as little as $5 a month, you get entered into a monthly giveaway for $60 in gift cards to your favorite console. For as little as $2 a month, you get extra bonus content, exclusive to Patreon, and you get an extra clue every single month, October, November, December, for our holiday giveaway, and an extra guess for a total of 3 instead of 2. So we'd love to have you support us there and take advantage of some cool rewards. Alright guys, that's it for 137. We'll be back next week with 138. Until then, have a great week everybody. Play some of the great games coming out or already have come out. And we will talk to you soon. Bye everybody.
Take care everyone.
Bye.